boys and girls, welcome back to art. Last week we had started off learning about some of our colors. We learned about our warm colors, which are our red, our oranges, our yellows. And when you think about those, think about things that when you're drawing something that you're making, like those warm things like the sun and fire. So think about those when you're thinking, what colors are my warm? And now we also have the other one that we made, the other coffee filter that was a cool color, our blues, our purples, our greens. So we got some really nice color on our coffee filters. Now we're gonna actually turn these into some silly monsters. And if you decide you want to do something different with yours, I'm okay with that. I do want to see a picture when you're done. So some of the materials we're going to use are the coffee filters we made last week. I just have some half sheets of white paper here, so I'm going to use some of those to create extra features on my monster. I made some of these for you guys. They're going to be attached where you can use to create the eyes of your monster, the mouth of your monster, and even some, like if you wanted to put something on the head, so added extensions on here. You're also going to need something to color with. You can use markers, you can use crayons, you can use colored pencils. I also have a black Sharpie. You really do need one of these if you're going to be drawing onto the coffee filter. And you can use a regular black marker too, you just don't want to get it wet. I have a glue stick and some scissors, and you guys might also want to grab a pencil so you have something that you can erase with. So we're going to get started actually creating the expressions and facial features on our monsters. Alright boys and girls, so I'm going to start drawing some of the facial features that I have given you guys. You do not have to use these. You can use your own design, or these were just ideas to share with you in case you were wondering, well, what can I use to draw my monster? Now, I could draw directly onto my coffee filter with the Sharpie marker, but I decided not to because there's some parts that I want to leave white and to really stand out. So I'm going to choose to draw my pieces on my white paper. I'm going to use a Sharpie. You guys need to start with a pencil so that way if you make a mistake you can erase it. So I'm going to draw my eyes, and you can pick either one of these or one of the ones that you want to do on your own. So, and monsters are never look the same. They're silly looking. If you've ever watched a Disney Monsters University or Monsters Inc., the eyes always, and the monsters look silly. So I'm actually going to make one eye. And if you notice, I just made a curved kind of line going up over into my circle. This is gonna actually become my eyelid. Then I'm gonna make another circle kind of inside. This is gonna become my pupil. This is gonna stay black. This is where we actually see out of, where light comes inside the eye. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna add one more curved line. Now, like I said, monsters don't have to be correct looking, so I'm actually gonna make one eye smaller than the other. I think I'm gonna do an eyelid on this one too. You don't have to. There's some you can see that I have that are different sizes or the same size. So now you see my eyes. Now I'm gonna add some color because I don't want to leave just black and white eyes when I have the opportunity to add some color on them. Alright, here's some of the fun parts. I'm going to add some color, but I really want my eyes to have some different value. So I'm actually starting off with the lighter color yellow in the inside, and you'll see why I'm doing this. I'm just kind of going around the pupil. And I'm going to go around, but then I'm going to take some of this, the next color yellow green, and I'm going to kind of go over some of that. I'm going to go over it, actually all of it. I'm going to go over that yellow that I just did, and then I'm actually going to color out a little bit further past that yellow so that I'm not coloring the entire rest of that iris right there. I'm just trying to add some value to my coloring here. All I'm using are crayons, boys and girls. I'm trying to use materials that you guys hopefully have at home. So you can see, and then you can see the green and the yellow, and then I'm going to take my final color and I'm going to color on top of some of that light green and kind of blend them in. And I might have to take my crayon and add some more of that yellow green in there. So I'm just coloring in the eyes. I actually colored back on top of the green some to blend those colors in. So I'm gonna take and add in so that those colors blend. So you can see all the different colors and the value in there, and it makes your coloring look nicer when we can add in some more color instead of just coloring it one shade. Try to add in some more of those colors in there. Really get those eyes to pop out. So then I'm gonna also color, I'm gonna leave this white like we have the whites in our eyes. But then I'm gonna use, I have violet purple, but I'm also gonna use some purple to color the eyelids. So I'm going to use some of my lighter purple to kind of color the tops in here of the eyelids and color down into, but then I'm going to use some of the darker to kind of blend in with that lighter and again create some value in our coloring here. So I finished coloring my eyes. Now I'm actually going to cut them out. I want to make sure when I cut out that I do leave my lines on here and that I don't cut out messy. So I'm actually going to make sure that when I'm cutting out, I turn the paper and I go slowly so that I don't make my eyes a different shape because I'm cutting out too fast and then messing them up. I am not going to glue my eyes down right away. Right now, I'm just going to place them onto my coffee filter here, and then I will continue working on it because I want to see what the composition of my artwork is going to be before I glue it down, because what if I want to move some of my features around? So I cut out my other eye. I'm gonna put it right there for now, and I might decide I want one eye up here or that I want one up here. Like I might change it around just to make, I might move it where he's got eyes on the side, looks kind of like a turtle. I haven't decided. I'm gonna put him right there for now. But now I'm gonna go and I'm gonna look at my papers. I already created my eyes. So I might create some horns or some other added things, but first I'm gonna look at what I wanna do for my mouth. So I'm just gonna use the same sheet that I had before, and I'm gonna pick out a mouth that I would like to do. Again, I'm using Sharpie. You can use a pencil, and I'm going to draw a mouth. So I'm gonna do one with it open, so I make a curved line like a big smiley face. And then I'm gonna make another curved line, and like I said, you do not have to make yours like the ones on the paper. You can go, and I'm actually gonna do some, you know what, we won't be able to use those. I'm actually gonna cut those off because trying to glue them on is gonna be hard. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna make some teeth in here. I'm just making some lines. I'm gonna make a tongue. And then I know that I need to color in this back area of my, I do not have, I'm just gonna use my Sharpie for now. So I'm gonna fill this in. You can use crayons, like I said. I wouldn't color in necessarily with your Sharpie. And if you don't, I'm using this because I'm like, cannot find my black crayon in here. But the Sharpie works great too. Alright, so I've moved a little bit ahead. I have a very cool monster here, but I noticed that I started using a lot of cool colors in here with my greens and my purples and my blues, and I have a little bit of warm, but I wanted to make my horns here a lot different than what I have on my my body and my face to kind of make it stand out. So I'm going to get some of my yellows and oranges, some of my warm colors, so that I can kind of bring some of those colors out. So I have some yellow, some orange, and some, ooh, we need yellow orange. yellow orange, so that I can show value in my warm colors as well and make my horns stand out. Notice I made some horns that are gonna go on to my monster. And I made one that was broken because he's just had a rough day. So we're going to go ahead and start coloring. Again, I'm going to add some value to my artwork here so that my colors really stand out. I'm just gonna add some yellow in here, and then I'm gonna blend in with my orange colors. Now, when I'm blending in, I wanna kinda go in here light, but I'm gonna actually overlap colors. You notice I'm not making a line down my paper and then filling it in with yellow and then filling in with the next color. I actually want to overlap some of these colors so that they blend in together, boys and girls, and I'm creating those colors together so that they really flow better instead of just making lines of, and see, I'm gonna add some of that orange back up in here so that it really kind of just flows through. So continue coloring and we'll come back together. All right, you can see that now I've finished coloring my horns. I'm going to cut them out nice and neat. I want to take my time. There's no rush in trying to cut out really fast, and then all that beautiful artwork that we've done gets messy because we went too fast. So I'm going to cut out my horns here, and I'm getting ready to set up the composition of my monster. So we're going to look at this. Now, I don't want my horns where they don't look right on my head. So I'm probably going to glue them to the back. We'll see how they look on the front. So I'm kind of just laying out and seeing what I want. I think that we're gonna put them on the back. So when we add the glue, when we're looking at the composition, I want to add just a little bit of glue. I'm using glue stick. It works a lot better with these coffee filters since they're so thin. I'm only adding a little bit of glue to my horn here, and then I'm going to place it on here and just kind of rub it together. This doesn't require too much because, like I said, it is really thin paper. So I'm going to add some glue on here, and I'm going to glue my horns on. This one I'm gonna make kind of silly looking. Like I said, these monsters can be as silly as you want. I'm going to see how I want his eyes on here first. And we may not do the nose that I did after all. I'm thinking I'm not gonna do the nose. I don't really want that one on here, as I've looked at the composition and I've kind of looked at it and decided I don't like the nose on there. So we're gonna leave that off, and that's why I say try after you get done with all your pieces to put them on there and build the composition of your artwork and decide what you like to put on there. So I'm gonna leave mine like that instead of adding the nose. We'll put that to the side and I might use it later. But I do wanna use my Sharpie just to kind of go and put a few little dots on here as texture, but there's really gonna be his freckles. So we're just gonna add a couple of freckles on his cheeks and mouth here. So my monster on this one is done, and now I'm gonna get started creating my warm colored one and come back and show you what we've done with our monsters. I hope you guys have fun creating one, and I will come back to show you my next one. All right, boys and girls, so I have two very different monsters. I have my cool monster who was ready to come back to school, was super excited, and then I've got my not so happy monster who's warm and did not want to come back to school today. So create your monsters, use expression, use different eyes, and just see how characters might be feeling and what you might even see, like when you read a book or see a drawing, and you can see what a character feels like and expressions that they are making just by changing the way the line is angled or shaped. So have fun creating your monsters and show me some pictures. Bye guys.